Welcome to
Back
ABC.
again?
Welcome to ABC, episode 70. Yes.
How's it going?
How's it going? I'm Brandon.
I'm Nick.
And
The duo cast
that's
continues
the
strong.
Duocast continues for another couple of weeks until Alex decides to come back or Jeffrey decides to get on.
Yeah, ever.
Either or. He said he would, but it's Jeffrey.
That fell through immediately.
And the shows we watched this week were Demon Slayer, Doctor Stone, Fire Force, and Vinland Saga, because Vinland Saga and Fire Force are both now back. Fire
Yep.
Force was off for a week. Vinland Saga was out for 3 weeks because they decided to just hand us 3 episodes right out the fucking gate.
It was a weird sort of off for 3 weeks, because it wasn't off as in they weren't releasing episodes. It's just they had released that week's episode, I guess.
Yeah, it was a little
That's
strange.
essentially what it was.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. In my opinion, a little strange way to do it. I didn't hate it, so
Eh. I am kind of interested, like, we are, consuming anime differently than native Japanese people are. So I kind of wonder, like, how did they release it to the native populace? Like, did they run all 3 in, like,
Yes, I
3
believe that's how it
consecutive
went.
Blocks? Interesting.
Yeah, so it was basically like a mega block of like an hour and a half where you just watched Vinland Saga.
Interesting.
I think I remember reading a comment about that, or a Twitter thingy about it on our anime.
Okay. They must have a lot of TV channels in Japan to support all this shit.
I mean, we have a bunch of TV channels here too.
It's true.
We've got
I don't
8
watch
SPNs,
half
Nick.
of them. I need all 8 ESPNs. Don't you dare take away the Ocho. How
Oh.
else will I learn about all of my weird news, like competitive ladder climbing?
Right?
That's a real thing. Look it up.
Yep. They also a bunch of firefighters do it.
Yeah, a lot of firefighters do it.
But that's not a segue to the first show, because our first show is Demon Slayer, which has nothing to do with firefighters.
Nope. It was a ruse.
Yeah. So Demon Slayer, back at it again with the slaying of demons, and more importantly, we're back at it again, following basically crying Pikachu for the entire episode, aside from like 2 small scenes with Tanjiro and Boar Kid. I keep hearing his name. I think it starts with an M, but I forgot what it was.
I have already
I
forgotten.
keep wanting to say. I keep thinking it's Mitsune, but I don't think that's it. I'm thinking that's the Mizutsune is the water fox thing from Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
So I keep confusing those for some
I
reason.
never remember Borkid's name unless they say it in the episode, and they didn't say it in this episode,
They did.
so I don't remember it. Did they?
Yep, they did, because that's what I'm trying to remember.
You're lying to me, or else I'd remember it.
I think it said it twice.
Or I'd look real bad for having just said I would remember it if they said it.
But anyways, yeah, Tanjiro and Boar Kid. Tanjiro tries to fix up Boar Kid because he's all fucked up, even though he says he's not, and he's being a tsundere about it. And it's basically the first scene.
Yeah.
That's the culmination.
They
of that
fuck
first
around
scene.
in the woods. Who cares about that?
Yep. More importantly, we have Craig Pikachu running away from spider people. Not Spider-Man.
I'm feeling him, though.
Yes,
Like, spiders are gross.
those.
Also, that thing was creepy.
Everything about that was fucking creepy. They were baby baby.
Yes.
Like not baby. Sorry, they were doll heads, right? They look like doll
Yeah,
heads
basically.
Just-
Yeah, they were doll head.
on like spider bodies.
Yes.
Wait. It was from Toy Story. The one kid.
I made this joke, yeah.
Yeah.
The fucking things under Sid's bed. I made this
Yep.
joke yesterday.
They're
last
exactly
week.
like that. There's
exactly
there's
what
like
they are.
20 of them just walking around everywhere.
Yes, it's weird.
Um,
So when fucking immediately, crying Pikachu turns around, looks at the thing, and just goes, "This isn't normal. I'm feeling him. It's not. It's weird as fuck."
so yeah, he just fucking bolts directly into the nest of this guy.
Yeah.
But we also
Which
find out.
it then does it does a nice moment of show don't tell, where you see like the 3 people strung up in like different
Yeah.
progressions of the transformation, but then they kind of ruin it by immediately going into just telling you what's going to happen, and I'm kind of like, I kind of wish you hadn't. I kind of wish you just left it like the 3 things, and it made us be like, or he could have made a vague comment about like, soon you'll be one of mine, and we could have assumed, or as the audience, that, oh, he's going to turn into a spider. I get
Yeah.
you now.
Mhm.
They didn't have to do the whole show don't tell thing, or I'm sorry, they didn't do the whole clock thing, but they chose to go with the clock thing, which whatever.
Yeah, which the clock didn't really do anything. Like, it didn't pay off.
The only thing it did, kind of, actually, in my opinion, its payoff was the very end when the clock breaks, signifying that he's not going to turn into a spider anymore.
Oh, I just assumed that would happen after the main demon died. But
I mean, yeah, but
I can see
it's
what you
also
mean.
like confirming it.
Yeah,
yeah.
that is a very good way to confirm it. Another way would have been like if we didn't have the clock was to just cut to the little progression and show them going back to their normal state.
Yeah, it's true.
Because what I was thinking they were gonna do is like some sad backstory for this guy involving the clock. Because if this was Tanjiro's fight, that would have happened.
That absolutely would have happened.
But that's one reason why I was thinking about it, because I thought that was gonna be the payoff, was a flashback to this kid's life before this. But since it's crying Pikachu, he just kills him, and that's that.
Yeah. The only other like thing I can imagine is that when we saw the clock at the end, it was like just at the edge of the time where he said you're going to experience like horrible pain.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it was. I don't really remember. I didn't check. But at the same time, I kind of assumed that when right before he went Super Saiyan, he coughed up like a load of blood, and I was like, oh, he's getting into the real bad times.
Mm-hmm. Another
so
thing
I didn't really need the time.
Another thing that I thought is he said like when the long arm does a full rotation, right?
Yeah.
That's an hour.
Yes, that's 1 hour.
Yeah, but it was like it's gonna be half an hour before you become mine.
Okay, right? Good. I didn't go back and re-listen to it, but my brain was like something about this is wrong.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I don't think you know how time works, dude. I think he said like at half an hour you pass out, and then like the rest of the preparation happens.
Maybe that's right.
I think that's what they were saying.
All I remember was like he said the time of like this is how long until it's over for you, basically. And then he pulled out the clock and was like, when the big hand goes all the way back to this position, you'll be a spider. And I'm like, wait, something about this doesn't add up, but I'm too lazy to go back and check.
Yeah. But anyways, we get that.
But I'm not the only one who got that feeling.
Instead of flashing back to the demon's life, we flash back to Zenitsu's life.
Yeah, we do.
Where we see him struggle to become a...
Back when he had black hair.
Back when he had black hair. When he was struggling to become like a sword user, and his gramps was beating the shit out of him because he was being a crybaby. But also telling him that I'm beating you up because I'm trying to forge you to become a strong sword. I completely fucked up that analogy, but that's basically what the flashback is about. You don't need to know all the like nuance of what was going on.
But we also saw that like for everything, his grandpa, like he and his pretend grandfather, like had a good relationship.
Is it pretend grandfather?
I couldn't really tell
because they look really similar.
Kind of,
right? With the
whole
hair
at the same time, like I feel like it started out with some like Zenitsu got thrown away and got collected by this dude. I wasn't super certain. Like there was a whole beginning part where I feel like he was getting kicked out by his father.
No, his dad died.
His dad died. Okay,
both his parents are dead. And like I think his grandfather takes custody of him when he's out being like a fucking weirdo to a bunch of girls.
Okay. Oh, right. His girlfriend makes him give her money so that she can run away with another guy. I remember that now.
What he thinks is his girlfriend.
Yes. Yeah. Clearly. But the only other thing, this is more of a me thing, but I'll admit to it. We see, in classic shonen trope, I think I can say, we see another student of the school of the lightning sword or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And we only see him like from the back, and he's like yelling at Tanjiro for being a fuck and taking
Zenitsu, not Tanjiro.
I'm sorry, Zenitsu. He's yelling at him for being a baby and not really being super great at the sword style and taking up the time of this like super respected elder.
His black hair, our main character has our Zenitsu has blonde hair, it's all the Naruto trope, exactly like how you're saying.
Yeah.
I was making jokes.
But it's also the fact that like we only see him from the back and we never see his face. Like clearly it's setting up there's going to be a reappearance of this character, and it's supposed to be like an amazing shock later down the line in like classic shonen trope. I think it's fair to say that. The thing that I do have to admit to is in listening to it, I felt like I knew his voice actor and I really wanted to know who it was, and so I had to look up. I had to find and hunt down who the voice actor was, and in the process, I found out who that character was, and so now I know how he's going to show up. So I haven't spoiled that for myself. I know who he actually is and in what context he'll return in, but I won't tell you. But I will admit that now.
Oh, is it the fucking guy that Tanjiro meets?
The guy that Tanjiro meets.
The first Demon Slayer we see.
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's not that guy.
Because I did recognize his voice.
Yeah.
But
well, he hasn't been in the show yet, I don't think.
Well, I just said like I thought I picked up on who his voice was, but I couldn't like tell what other shows I've watched that had his voice actor.
He was in Iron Blood Orphans, but I have no idea if the character he
Oh,
played was
yes,
important.
I don't remember. Well, he was Oga in Iron Blooded Orphans. He was also the professor, not the professor. He was a counselor in Boogie Pop.
Yes.
Hmm.
He was also the captain in Kroko's basketball.
He's a bunch of things. I think
He has a lot of things.
we watched a show with him in. I think he was also in Sarazanmai at some point.
He was. He was.
So he was one of
No,
the
I'm
police
sorry.
officers.
No, I don't think he was in Sarazanmai.
Yes, he was. He was the paler police officer, I think.
Oh, he was. I forget now. One of Reo and Mabu.
He was Mabu.
Mabu, yeah. Okay.
My ears, Nick. They're just as good as Nitsu's at recognizing people.
That's in 2 of our shows. A character from Sarazanmai showed up.
Yeah. It's we need 3 more. Sorry, we need. Actually, no, because I was thinking of all the kids, but never mind.
Yeah, none of the kids have showed up. I don't
Ant hasn't
think.
shown up, or the other cat guy hasn't shown up either.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'll try to figure out who that guy is at some point. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. The only in show like reference to his character we've seen so far is he has the necklace.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, the little like half yin yang thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in classic Chekhov gun thing, we know that's going to become relevant later.
Yeah. So yeah, Zenitsu does that. Also, while he's like being a baby and crying up in a tree, mirroring what he's doing in the present, which is being a baby up a tree because there's a bunch of spiders everywhere.
Again, feeling him.
It's okay.
Spiders are gross.
Spiders are disgusting. A lightning strike, or sorry, a lightning bolt strikes the tree he's sitting in the past, and that's what causes him to have blonde hair or yellow hair. I don't know why that happens, but fuck it, anime shit.
Right. That's basically what I was. In my head, I'm trying to decide like, would that kill or bleach your hair to this extent? And about 5 seconds of thinking through that, I was like, fuck this, it's anime shit. Who cares?
Well, I mean, even then, like if it bleached his hair, it would just grow black or brown.
It could, but at the same time, like you could kill the root of it to a certain extent. I don't know enough about hair to like say for certain, but I think it's possible.
Okay.
I don't know if it would grow in blonde. I think it would just grow in white, but I don't know.
Okay. And we get that. We see that also that Gramps is constantly trying to push Zenitsu to be stronger and be better, and we see that Zenitsu kind of picks up on that and tries to take to heart what his Gramps taught him, which you see in this where he finally becomes a conscious, and that's when he decides to be all powerful fucking Super Saiyan. Beats
Well,
shit.
as we see in the flashbacks, also is that his grandfather Zenitsu only manages to learn 1 of the 6
Yes.
techniques.
I thought it was 3.
It's mistranslated.
Oh, okay.
They say Mutsu, which is 6, not Mitsu, which
Wow.
is 3.
Roku was 6. Or
There's 2 apparently translations. I only know this from the R anime thread.
okay.
Somebody was like, they mistranslated. It's actually 6.
6, okay. I was thinking like 3's a little,
Yeah.
small, because fucking Tanjiro has like what 8 or 6 or 7.
8, 9, 12. I've got no idea. He keeps whipping out new ones.
Yeah, every episode he's like, water whirlpool, waterfall,
Water, whatever technique I need.
surf.
Last week it was fucking, the rains of Castamere, the slash.
Which I'm pretty
And
sure he
fucking-
said like number 4, which you've seen
Yeah.
number 4 before, and it wasn't
Right.
the rain.
It was like some random number in the middle, and I'm like, fuck this shit. Why'd you learn this in the middle? This should be like the last one you learn. Fucking never comes up. But anyways,
yeah.
so Zenitsu only learns 1 of the 6, and so his grandfather says, like, even learning 1 of them is an amazing success, and if you can only learn 1, learn it the best.
And holy shit, does he learn the fucking best?
Yeah.
He was
Holy
ultralighting
shit.
it up everywhere.
Okay, so, like, I don't know how overpowered it's going to end up being, but it feels super overpowered.
Well, I mean, it's almost like an instant kill, because it's literally called Thunderclap and Flash, because you just teleport and just kill someone.
Yeah. I mean, as we saw in the first use of it, it moves at a speed where you physically can't see him. So, like, he's done cutting you before you realize he's moved, which feels super overpowered.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're gonna like tone it down as the demons get better and better, and they're gonna be able to like see him for anime reasons. But it feels like he's just super busted.
Someone could have a power to either see in the future or just have an intuition for like, because I assume like he can only move in a straight line. Like, at some point, like that's gonna happen. It's gonna be a thing. Because even in this episode, we saw him like bounce off trees and stuff, but only ever move in a straight line.
Well, he did do the air dodge, which is pretty awesome.
But he wasn't doing the thunderclap flash at that point. He was just
was not. You're true. He was jumping.
So I think that's gonna be like one of the weaknesses is you just move in a straight line, and some demon's gonna try to capitalize on that.
I expect that, yeah, because otherwise all of the upper demon moon fights could be like, Zenitsu, go!
just like fucking deck Zenitsu so he becomes conscious and just sick him on someone.
Exactly.
Like, that's gotta be your fucking game plan. But no time
Either
to
that or
like...
you just put a bag over his head and be like, alright, you can't see the bad things, go attack them.
But in this episode we also see that like he's not completely unconscious because he knows what he's doing. Because unlike last time where he like didn't think he did it at all, in this episode he knows he did it and knows that it was pretty strong.
Right.
And like he was able to help someone. Well, not really someone. He doesn't. Really
and he
save
understands
anyone.
like from his past like his memories of the past. Like he knows that he knows the technique.
Yeah.
So, I'm assuming hopefully post this whole like spider demons on the mountainside thing, as they're all in like super recovery, he will learn to be less of a bitch.
Hopefully, but
because that's my assumption is the two like high level demon slayers, whatever we want to call them, who are gonna roll up, other water boy and the other girl. I'm hoping they're gonna like roll up, save the day, and be like, y'all motherfuckers need to go into like the hyperbolic time chamber and learn how to fight shit.
Yeah, probably.
Because otherwise, it's gonna be a really like, it's gonna be a weird progression of we have to fight progressively stronger and stronger demon moons, and not learn any not have a reason to learn any new techniques along the way.
And also be the lowest tier of the demon slayers.
Yeah, exactly.
They need to up their rank. But yeah, that's all that's happened so far. But we also get Tarzan Spider Dad, show up. Because we have one quick cutaway with at the end, I think, with Tanjiro and Boar-Kid, where they're just walking around and the fucking Spider Girl is just walking there next to them. And she's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, she's like across the river from them, and they like make eye contact, and they're both like, "Fuck! They saw me!"
So she runs away. First she yells out for her dad, and he comes out right as Boar-Kid's trying to like slice her, and then Tarzan and Boar-Kid kind of have a back and forth. Not talking because Tarzan dad doesn't talk, but a physical back and forth.
Yeah, he can't talk because his face is a spider.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. His face is a spider.
It is upsetting to look at.
Yes. And then Tanjiro and Boar-Kid all start that fight, and that's how the episode ends. This is right after they hear a thunder in the distance, and Tanjiro's like, "Yo, did you hear that?" And Boar-Kid just, acting like a spaz.
Yeah. Well, because it's also worth mentioning that, like, because they hear thunder in the distance, neither of them know that is Zenitsu's sign, essentially, because neither of them have seen him be a badass yet. So, I can kind of forgive the story for not having somebody run off to be like, "Hey, our one fuck is clearly in trouble. Let's go save his ass."
They don't care. These will be fine. He's a demon slayer. And he was.
Well, he is,
he's, still alive
lying
now.
on top of a house, passed out.
On top of a house that's, like, on spider webs, up in the air.
They never really explained why the spider collected that house, either.
Like, squandered one?
I guess.
It needed a hiding place.
I didn't just live in the forest,
Nick,
though.
shut the fuck up. He needed a hiding place. And the house is...
a random house.
Yes.
A random one-room house.
It's a shed, sir.
It basically is. And
so that was Demon Slayer. We will have the fight with Tarzan Dad and maybe Spider Girl, and then Chuntaro's gonna go over to the other fucks and tell him, "Hey, Zenitsu's dying."
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens with that.
I'm just hoping for my boy Zenitsu to learn to not be a bitch, because holy fuck do I love Thunderclap and Flash as an attack.
Fucking awesome, but it's used by such a little punk right now.
Yeah. I mean, this episode I was feeling him. Spiders are
Yeah,
gross.
yeah,
I'm with him.
there are a lot of spiders. I also want to see more of Borkit's techniques.
The beast style stuff.
Because like yeah, the first beast style we see, it's not even like there wasn't even anything flashy. He just slices someone. He calls it a beast style. The second one we see is actually cool, where he like uses the Byakugan to like find out where things are.
Doesn't he have like? I feel like he yelled out beast style when he was like headbutting his way through doors inside the mansion too.
Maybe, but that's just because he's Borkit.
Yeah, that's true. He also does the Naruto run, which I don't know how I feel about.
It kind of just encapsulates his character in the
It really
perfect way.
does. Really just caps off who he is as a human being.
He's even human. Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
Demon
we've seen
Slayer.
his face. He's definitely human.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next show we watched is Doctor Stone in the Stone World. 110 billion%.
110 billion%?
Well, 10 billion%.
You said 110 billion.
I think. Yes. I fucked up how to say 10 billion. All right, fucking sue me.
Done. So, Dr. Stone and the story of kind of explaining how to make gunpowder.
I don't think they actually want to explain how to make gunpowder because that might be
They
illegal.
definitely did not want to explain how to make gunpowder.
Also, Nick, to your point from last episode, where you're gonna wonder how they're gonna get potassium nitrate. They just say they have it. There
Yeah.
you go.
They did make reference to the nitric acid.
Yeah.
They did not at all explain how it became potassium nitrate.
Because they don't want people making their own fucking gunpowder.
Yeah. I also like that, the whole potassium nitrate from nitric acid thing, and then we cut back to Tsukasa running through the forest, and he's like, the shells told me he was making gunpowder. And I'm like, didn't they say calcium carbonate, which is absolutely not potassium nitrate? So, really don't know how the shells are telling you gunpowder right now, because apples and oranges.
Wait, because can't you like mix calcium carbonate with gunpowder for like to reduce the
You
smoke or something?
can, yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, to remove the smoke.
yeah, that's one of the things.
But it's not a principal component of gunpowder, though.
But it's mostly referencing the fact that what's his face? Senku said that there are 4 uses for it, not 3. He tells him later on. He tells to Tsukasa later on.
Yeah.
It's just reinforcing more reasons why Tsukasa thinks it's gunpowder. Because we have that fucking like jump to conclusion moment where he's like, "Huh, they're heading south, gunpowder."
Gunpowder. This specific town.
Exactly. I'm
I
also
have lots of problems with Tsukasa's character, but we'll get into that in a second.
But yeah, for now we have Senku just, getting his little sulfur on the side there, while Yuzuriha, which, real quick, I thought her name was Tsubame. I was wrong. I don't know why her name was Tsubame. Tsubame is a character, which I just remembered, is a character from Kaguya, from one of the newer chapters from Kaguya, and I'm not completely sure why I had that name mixed up. I found this out, I think the day after we recorded last episode.
I think something like
But
that.
yeah, it was fucking strange reading that chapter of Kaguya and be like, hey, this character, I know who you are. I've been confusing you with everyone else. But yeah, I digress. It's Yuzuriha and 8-Man. They're just kind of like in the hot springs chilling out with the little divider, and they're just talking about random bullshit. He says that he won't confess to her just yet, but he'll confess later. For reasons. Yeah. I don't know why.
Well, because basically he understands that if she says no, the way that civilization is right now, it's going to be like awkward as fuck because she doesn't exactly have anyone else to like talk to because it's just the 3 of them. So he's like, I'm not going to make it weird if you say no, so I'm not going to say anything right now.
Oh, that makes sense. I like that reasoning. Because I kind of tuned out that part for some reason.
I don't know why you checked out. Well, it wasn't super impactful, I guess. I can understand it.
Yeah, it's just them.
If there was anything to check out on, it was that part, I guess.
But after that, they start making the gunpowder, and where they have Senku's live kitchen performance, which I really like. It was really funny. Where
It's pretty good.
he teaches you how to make gunpowder, which you need some potassium nitrate, some
Hmm.
charcoal, and then some sulfur. You mix that shit together, and then you pack it down. But be sure not to light it when you're packing it down, because you're gonna lose your arms
No, you won't.
if you light it.
Yeah, it's gunpowder in an open area, Brandon. It'll just catch on fire.
Okay.
That's not how gunpowder works.
Well, anyways,
Gunpowder only blows up if you light it in a closed space because it releases heat and gas, which if you try and expand in an enclosed space, it can't expand, and so it pops. That's why there's an explosion. That's why bullets are enclosed, and though when you hit it with the firing pin and it lights on the inside, it expels the bullet out of the chamber. That's the principle behind it.
Anyways.
So if you just had gunpowder like on a table and you lit it on fire, it would just flash powder, and the whole thing your table would scorch, but it wouldn't explode.
Well, if your arms are close enough, those arms
It's
are
true.
burned.
If your arms were close enough, yes.
So you pack that shit down, but while they're packing it down, they light a spark, and it goes poof. After they run away, and that starts a fire, which sends a bunch of black smoke up in the air, which becomes more important a little bit later on, where people start to where we find out a little twist, kind of.
Mhm.
But anyway, Senku realizes that if Tsukasa's chasing after them, he'll probably see the smoke. So he's trying to figure out if he should keep it lit. Eventually
Yes.
he decides, let's fucking light it. So he says,
The decision is between should we have the smoke billowing up in the air where everyone can see because there are smoke, like other people lighting
Yes.
fires in the distance.
okay, I thought it was later
Or-
on that happened, but that doesn't make sense.
No, they
It
see
makes sense.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they see one and say, maybe there's more. Should we keep it going, or should we save ourselves from Tsukasa and put it out?
And they keep it going.
They decide to keep it going to see if there's going to be more. And lo and behold, there are 2 more smoke signals that appear.
Well, that appears because they make a signal, which they make like 3 gunshots essentially,
Yeah.
and that's like a signal. That's just a thing. And and the other person who's like is pretty smart. He's like, okay, he sent me 3 things. I'm going to assume that they're doing that on purpose. So I'm going to light 3 fires to show that I understand reasoning. Which is a cool way to show that. But we see Tsukasa is coming after them, and he sees the black smoke. So he heads up the volcano mountain thing, where we then have the confrontation between them.
And along the way up the mountain, he collects 1 prisoner in Yuzuriha.
Yeah, you just need to say prisoner, and people will know who it was.
Yeah, true.
Because that's all she's been right now. Well, kind of.
I mean, sort of.
Um,
She was also guide.
she was a guide. To be fair, she's only been in Damsel Distress this one episode.
Because for the first 2, she was rock.
Yes, first episode and a half, sir. Wait, no, first 2 episodes.
First 2 episodes.
He holds a fucking obsidian sword to her, while Senku's there, and they have a little negotiation. But I think you want to say something about this part,
Yeah.
about Tsukasa's thing, and then we'll talk about the flashback afterwards.
Okay. So Tsukasa, his whole logic here is, I can't let you build guns because if we build guns, we'll fight each other and we'll return to being a cruel and evil
Being
time.
evil adults.
And I'm like, bitch, motherfucker, you clearly have not you clearly have learned science because you pulled gunpowder from shells out of your ass. But clearly you didn't learn history because the history of humankind is we've been cruel to each other with literally all of the weapons for all of the times. Bitch, motherfucker, fucking Og probably beat Grog to death with a rock in the Stone Age. It was probably the world's first murder, was rock on skull violence. And bitch motherfucker thinks, oh, if we create guns, that's gonna be the problem. It's not humans that are the problem.
Yeah, I don't really get Tsukasa anymore.
I really didn't like his logic of weapons of science are the problem. No, motherfucker, humans are the problem.
Also, he's very inaccurately assuming that younger people can't also be massive douches and greedy as fuck.
Yeah. He just kind of naively assumed, well, because it was all, based on the one dude who was mean to him as a kid, so clearly adults are bad.
Yes. All adults are bad because this one dude's a fucking drunkard and punched in the face.
Yeah. While he was collecting seashells for his dead sister.
She wasn't dead yet.
She wasn't dead yet.
And we don't know if she ever died.
We don't, but he says she has
She was in the
no
hospital.
one that could be exploited. So I feel like she's dead.
Maybe she'll appear with the dead mom hair.
That would be interesting.
Um,
Um,
but yeah, basically have that back and forth where he's saying, don't make a gun because people are mean, and Senku's
Yeah.
like, I want to make stuff though.
right.
And then we get like a little flashback where we get him in grade school, and he's like, I'm gonna go up to space right now. And then we see his dad being kind of a cool fucking dad, like doing everything he can to get his like son to just experiment with stuff.
Right.
Shout out to that fucking dad.
Yeah.
Super
At the same
supportive.
time, like for all that Senku does later, like in his high school and middle school career, I kind of wonder, like, did he at some point become like self-sufficient when it came to money?
Because that shit's expensive. Like everything he
this shit's
had.
expensive. And he built like a fucking Tesla gun.
Yeah, he had a Tesla gun. He built a fucking rocket. And it's not
He
even
built
like a
an
model
operational rocket.
Yeah.
Like he built some pretty cool ass shit. He fucking distilled gasoline from bottle caps. Logic be damned. So like,
Nick, please, it's a special bacteria that did that. He
Oh,
developed it.
stop! You're hurting me physically. So like clearly he's got some science props. So hopefully he became like somewhat self-sufficient because his dad gave up a lot.
He may have gotten like scholarships and stuff. That's like
It's true.
what I think happened. Or
Grants.
it doesn't really fucking matter because they're
It's
never gonna
true.
get into it. But yeah, grants and stuff. You
Yeah,
know.
his dad's never going to come back, but I felt for his dad when he was selling his car to pay for his son's, more than a hobby, less than a career, somewhere in between, but
Mhm.
still. But it was a cool dad move to,
Yeah, and
hook the brother up with all of the shit he needs to go to space as a fucking 8-year-old child.
yep. And then we see that it's gonna come into play later, I think, at some point. But there were like little knickknacks that Yuzuriha made of herself, Senku, and 8-Man, and they sent those little knickknacks up into space, and now they're like in space.
I
So-
don't think that's going to come into play.
They're probably gonna. I don't know if it's gonna come into play, but they're gonna make reference to it at some point.
I think if anything's going to come into play, it's the fact that Yuzuriha knows how to like sew
Craft
and
stuff?
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So I'm assuming she's going to become in charge of like clothes production.
I mean, they can make pretty damn good clothes on their own already.
I mean, it's true, but they're making like pretty basic survivalist gear. So like
Yeah, it's a good
maybe
point.
they're gonna step it up with like,
Fabric.
winter coats and shit. Well, they did have winter coats in that one super cut. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens though.
After that, Senku manages to. He tells Tsukasa the combination of the
Alcohol and the nitric acid.
yeah of the miracle water, as they put it. But he like just gives him a lot more information than he needed to. Like he could have told him like the ratios and stuff, and Tsukasa would have been like, "Cool, I'm out," without any knowledge of how to get those ratios correct. But fucking Senku's like, "Oh, it's probably gonna come out wrong, so use like feathers to test it out on." And I was just
Yeah.
like, "But like, why tell him that? Why make it why make his work even easier?" Like he just wanted to know what the shit, like what stuff made the miracle water, and you did tell him that. That's all you needed to fucking do.
Yeah.
But I guess he's just a very he wants people to know stuff. I guess I don't know.
I guess.
But Tsukasa
Also, so here's the other thing with it. Tsukasa's standing there and he's like, "Tell me the formula." Fucking, he could have just told him anything. He could have been like, "Yeah, it's 50% alcohol and 50% nitric acid," and Tsukasa would have believed him because he didn't ask for a demonstration.
or even yet, like you get that nitric acid, you poop in it, and then you piss in it. You just mix that shit up with your hands. Make sure to like take a lick of it, and then you put it on.
Oh, God.
Make him get the dysentery. Well, no, see, if that happened, that would have been just too obvious.
Yeah, but like he could have just lied about the
Yeah.
ratio, and even better, he could have just changed like what compound it was. So he could have been like, "Yeah, it's nitric acid and insert other random thing here. The tree sap from this particular tree in a 50-50 ratio," and Tsukasa would have been like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And so then he doesn't have the formula, and when he figures it out, you would have built a gun by then, so you'd be good.
Yeah.
But instead, he just decides to give him the actual formula for no good reason.
So yeah, then Tsukasa like well before that he cut Yuzuriha's hair. Yuzuriha's like, "Hey, this looks nicer." and it's all a badass move where she's like very like has a very strong face to her, knowing that she's gonna fucking die. But then after Senku tells Tsukasa the formula, Tsukasa just decides to kill him because no one else can know this formula except for him. And the very
not the reason.
That's not the reason.
The reason he kills Senku is because he knows that as long as Senku is alive, he'll try to revive all civilization, and so he basically tells him, "You have to swear off all science forever, and I'll let you live."
Oh, right. Yes, that's what it was.
Senku basically says, "There's no way I could do that," and Tsukasa basically looks at him and says, "Yeah, I had a feeling." And they kind of have a moment where they look at each other, and Tsukasa says, "If we'd met back in the day, you may have been my first friend." And Senku kind of has that look of, "Yeah, sure, kid."
No, you're a fucking weirdo. And then we get that frame where we see that Tsukasa killed him, but he's not dead.
No,
it's probably going to be he's got like a bit of a stone stuck on his back of his neck or something.
Oh, that's absolutely what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's been, it's one of those things that's now built up. Every episode now, he's rolled his neck and has like been drawing attention to it. And specifically, he rolled his neck, and then Tsukasa said something about, "I'll hit you in the back of the neck to, sever the nerve and kill you." And I'm like, they've been drawing a lot of attention to his neck. There's going to be his chunk of stone is right there, isn't it?
He's got the collar on. He's being a greaser for that reason.
He's growing his hair out so you can't see.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's gonna have fucking stone armor plating protection.
But it's okay because we'll pretend to be surprised when the episode comes out.
No, yeah, no doubt. There, at least the first 5 to 10 minutes is gonna be spent in a panic with 8-Man, where he's like, "How can I save him? He's dead. My friend is dead." And then we're all gonna be like, "Oh my god!" when he rises.
They killed the main character.
They killed the main character. The main character is actually going to be a bar of soap.
Dr. Stone. And so that is how Dr. Stone ends. It's just over.
It's just over.
Oh,
I'm really hopeful for our new character, who is hopefully going to show up sometime soon.
Yeah, we've got that one girl.
Yeah, the one girl who's been lighting the fires.
Probably, and the rest of her posse, which in the endings openings we see them as having the blue robes.
Yeah.
But we also have that guy with the rope tied around his forehead. I think he's going to be like a rival type character to Senku.
Probably. Senku seems like super smart, so he probably is going to be like the rival who's not quite as good.
Yes.
Like, rather than like rivals on equal footing, he's going to be like the rival who's like, "I'm going to get you one of these days." And Tsukasa's like, "Yeah, sure, pal. You keep trying, kid."
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But yeah, it's still pretty good. It was an okay episode.
Yeah.
The flashback was nice. It was cool to see more of the past. 8-Man's whole, "I'm not going to tell you how I feel because it could be weird for you and I don't want that," was pretty cool.
That makes sense.
Overall, it had some good moments. Tsukasa's an idiot, and his logic is faulty.
Tsukasa's a fucking idiot. Completely.
I guess that's kind of the point, too, is like his logic is supposed to be faulty. Like, we're not supposed to agree with him. They're like, yes, clearly this is the right way, and Senku is a jackass. Like, we're supposed to agree with our main character, so...
I don't know, if you maybe, like, phrase it differently, like, I want to, like, make up a posse of teenagers and teach them not to be assholes. And I guess maybe that makes a little more sense. But I don't know. That's the only reason, like, I'd be like, I guess he's wrong, but he's, like, not that wrong.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, he's just stupid.
Yeah, he's just an idiot who doesn't know history.
Exactly.
Also, apparently an ex-MMA fighter. We forgot to mention that.
Oh, yeah.
Flashbacks, he's apparently a MMA fighter. So.
Which, I like that there's a reasoning as to why he's so fucking strong and, like, such a brute.
Yeah.
He literally actually did it. Instead of just, like... Because sometimes you'll have an anime character who's, like, super strong and stuff just because he is who he is.
Right.
And this one, like, even though it's, like, a frame or just a shot, like, of 2 seconds, like, it gives it a lot of, like, interesting... it makes it more interesting to think about.
Right.
Because, you think of, like, how was he a fighter? How good is he a fighter was he? And just other stuff like that. It's just that little bit to, have your imagination, run with it.
Exactly. It adds some characterization without having to have, like, a full flashback about it, which is kind of cool.
So that's
that was Dr. Stone.
Dr. Stone. And now we have episode 3 of Fire Force. Let's start out with this real quick. Tamaki's super annoying.
Not a fan
It was just kind of, she was just kind of annoying.
of our fire, whatever, cat, fox.
I don't know if she was annoying, like, her character itself. It's just the way the show portrayed her character was kind of annoying.
Well, I don't think that's going to change.
It's not going to change at all. And,
Brennan specifically is referring to the fact that the character...
She's nothing but, like, fan service bait. That's all she is.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's literally harem bait, the character. Because where the normal harem protagonist has the, you know, as anime has deemed it, as the anime cliche is, they have the Lucky Letcher, you know, thing as the harem protagonist, where they end up as like, oops, I tripped and groped your boob, you know, as the classic trope. She is the reverse of that, where everyone has that to her exclusively.
Yes, apparently in the manga, like that scene where our main character does like grab her boob on purpose or on accident.
Accident?
Yeah, on accident. And then her butt on accident. Apparently, like in that scene, every guy had done that.
Every guy had done that?
Yeah, in that scene.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true or not, because this is the comment on our anime. It could have been a complete lie. I don't know. I'm just believing them.
That is a lot, though.
I haven't read the manga.
I mean, I'm assuming they didn't mean like all of the guys. They just meant a lot of the guys.
There's
Like it
probably,
happened
like-
a lot in sequence,
There's probably like 5 panels of each of the guys doing it. Well,
Yeah.
she was like bouncing around.
or like all of the guys in just the 8.
Oh yeah.
It-
I don't know. Not the guys in 8, but like just I don't mean all the guys. I mean like the 4 guys we see in that little like area they're at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because if it was like all of the guys, I'd be like that would take a while.
Yes. That would
Or
just
it'd
be a
one of those, like,
chapter.
you know, it would be one of those multi-shot panels where it's like 7 guys in like a staggered line, and she just pinballs between them all in one panel.
Yeah. But like our first scene is with her. She just shows up there. Like he does that thing where he breathes in like the calisthenics thing.
Yeah.
And she's just there. And she just like I didn't really get that scene. It wasn't really funny. I was just confused.
Well, they were both doing the same thing where they're like, you know, they were doing like the getting ready. This is the moment I have my coming out party. Like, I'm here to succeed.
Okay.
And she was doing the same thing, like, look at the future sight of my victories. Like, I kind of understood what they were going for, but it was a weird start just because they immediately threw you into, like, the rookie games.
Yeah.
Like, there was no lead into it.
But I think this was also the scene where we have the first fan service joke where our main character can't look away from her boobs. Or he looks at her boobs and then tries to look away. And then she's like, what are you looking at?
I think so.
Yeah, it happens then. And then opening happens, I think.
Maybe?
Possibly. Opening happens.
There was
at
the
some
whole
point.
lead in at first with the 2 guys in like the dark basement as they're talking about like the world has crumbled and Japan is one of the last few like safe havens and
Oh, I think that happened before the opening, so yes.
yeah, that was like the first thing that happened. That was the very first shot.
I liked all that stuff. Fucking
It was kind of cool.
that guy with the black hair, I love him.
It was interesting to look at the map behind them because I always love like, you know, how Japan is going to explain how Japan is the best country in the world. It's always my favorite thing.
Yes.
And I think their explanation is that America no longer exists. I
Yes.
think, according to the map, holistically, we are gone.
Yes. I don't know if it's underwater or something.
Right.
But
It just wasn't there anymore.
yeah. And parts of the land are uninhabitable because it's just filled with fire as well.
Yeah.
Um,
So, like, Japan...
well, it's specifically Tokyo. Basically, only Tokyo is like
Yeah.
livable.
Basically, only Tokyo. Well, there was, like, chunks of Japan that still existed, but I guess most of it was on fire, and Tokyo was one of the only parts of Japan not on fire.
Mhm. And they have districts, which correspond with the districts of
The
firefighters, and we have like high risk areas for the fire spreading and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's
So-
kind of cool backstory to the world.
Yeah. It was a little bit of world building at first. And then we get the rookie games with, our main character and... What's her name again?
It doesn't fucking Tamaki.
Tamaki, thank you. We get probably the opening then, and then we get the introduction of captain of Division 1.
Yeah, but real quick, that guy with the glasses and the hair. I just love the way like the episode starts out where he like just kind of looks like he's talking to you.
Oh,
I really
right,
enjoy
yeah.
it.
Where he's like sitting in the chair looking straight at the camera,
Yeah,
basically.
mostly because he looks a lot like Vincent from Catherine.
Okay.
So it just really reminded me of Persona when that happened. Like just the opening Persona where either fucking Igor's like talking to you, like directly at like the player saying, "Hey, you're gonna embark on this journey, sign this contract." I was like expecting that to happen, where it's just an extended shot of him saying, "Here, sign this contract," and then it goes over to our resident fucking Soul Eater knockoff guy. Which, by the way, this manga was written by the same author, Soul Eater.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was gonna mention
Oh.
that last episode or 2 episodes ago, because I think was it last episode or 2 episodes ago when I think it was last episode where we get knife guy, not knife guy, sword guy.
Yeah,
Arthur.
that was last. That was 2 weeks ago, last episode.
Yeah, because Arthur guy, like his nose has that weird like shading thing where the tip of his nose is like a diamond and it's shaded, and that's like what instantly sparked me to think that it was from Soul Eater.
Okay.
I was right. I have
Um,
an eye for detail.
for some reason, the start of the episode with the guy in the doctor's like lab coat sitting in the chair, and like the gray hair, and it's all kind of dark. It just reminded me, despite the fact that I have only seen 2 episodes of this show, reminded me of the main character from Steins Gate.
That's
If he
yeah.
was way more strung out on like meth.
Yeah. I mean, in some of those episodes, the guy from Steins Gate was basically strung out of meth.
Oh, okay. Like I said, I've only seen like 2 episodes.
It's a good show. You should give it a shot.
I will get around to it. It's one of those shows where it's a combination of it starts slow, and I did the thing where I started watching it, stopped watching it, and now like
It's
the
really hard
barrier
to
to
pick it back up.
entry is super
Yeah.
hard. Yeah,
It happens.
I think I just need to restart at this point. It's been too long.
So yeah, we get the introduction of Captain or of District 1 Captain, who is the firefighter who basically stopped a fire that sparked our main character's like kind of descent into or that sparked the interest of our main character to become a firefighter or to join the fire force because he was there during that incident. So he decides that he wants to go ask him if he knows anything about that incident 12 years ago. And the District 1 Captain's like, no, go away.
Well, specifically, he asked about the incident, and then there's a cut back to the captain's face as you can see him get more like grumpy,
Yeah.
clearly meaning he knows something.
Yes, because
Because if it had just been a scene where he just said, nah, and, if he basically just gone, nope, leave me alone now, you could believe, like, maybe he just doesn't know anything. But because they had a shot of his face where he gets more, like, visibly upset, you know he knows something.
Yes.
You know he's hiding something.
but then Tamaki shows up.
Yeah, well, because she's also
Because she's
fucking
in District 1.
District 1, and she's like, stop bothering my captain! And then, yeah, she gets fucking felt up, like, 3 times consecutively, and it's hilarious. We all laughed.
No one did.
I did laugh at the fucking. I forgot to mention. We forgot
Ass
to mention
grab?
this, but no, the fucking 119.
Oh my god, that was the best joke in this episode.
That was amazing.
I'm really annoyed that they didn't just keep the fucking dogs.
Because so it was a pun on the fact that it was one, the Japanese sound for dogs barking,
Barking.
and then nine for the cat.
And it's also
Meowing.
911.
It is also 911, but so they are 119, and then apparently, in my favorite bit was that one of the higher ups decided that one of them had to be a human, and so one of the mascots is just a dog-faced old dude.
Which is our favorite of Maki. Our
Yeah.
Fire Witch.
I don't know if that's her favorite, but she does think that he's cute.
I think she was his favorite.
I
But
don't
anyways,
remember.
She thinks it's cute. I don't know why, because it looks fucking ugly. But you know,
Yeah.
whatever. Think whatever you want's cute, I guess.
I mean, you like what they said in the beginning. She's got a head full of goopy flower gush,
Exactly.
so we can't exactly say she's logical most of the time.
And after this, we get the introduction of what's going to happen in this little like event, which is they storm into this like fake building. They need to find our fake infernal and save our hostage, essentially.
Which, for the record, they see the fake infernal. I'm
Yes.
gonna complain about this later, so I want to make this clear. They're like, "You're going to find this fake infernal," and the dude's like waving to them from the balcony. So they all knew what he looked like going in.
Trust me, Nick. I have things to say about that as well.
Okay, good.
Because I was like audibly annoyed at the interaction that happened. But anyways, they all start running off, and our main character's like, wait a minute, I can fly, so he just flies to the top.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you have fucking powers, that's what you're gonna do. And then Tamaki runs after him. And then she, is a cat girl.
Yeah, she's a cat girl, which is why she doesn't wear a lot of clothes, presumably. Who actually knows?
Honestly, at some point, so something that would subvert my expectations would be if, like, someone asked her, like, why aren't you wearing your clothes right? And she says, I just want to wear this. I'd be like, oh, okay. Like,
that
all right.
Would be impressive.
Right, I'd be like, okay, yeah, all right. I mean, I can't say you can't do that, because it's your choice.
Yeah. Your body, your choice. Go for it.
And that'd be like a perfect subversion of expectations, because like it's not because of some stupid fucking reason. It's just because she wants to.
Right.
But they're not gonna do it.
They won't.
Yeah, they won't. But he flies up there. He runs in. He sees the two bodies on the floor, and he's like, "Oh shit, what the fuck happened?" And then he sees our evil guy with our eye patch man, aka Joker.
Yeah. The Joker.
Just Joker, not the Joker.
Whatever, Joker, the Joker. Is there a difference?
And the Joker's like, "Hey, fuck, damn it!"
Yes, Nick wins.
And Joker then confronts him and asks him if he wants to find out what happened 12 years ago. Entice him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
To which you can pull us off after this, because I don't quite remember the exact interaction that happens afterwards.
Okay, so it begins with our main character,
Yes.
Devil Guy, basically saying, "I don't want your information. Step away from my, coworkers."
Yes, I want to save them.
We now see Joker can manipulates fire specifically from his cigarettes. So he's pulling the heat and the flame off of his cigarette to kind of manipulate it into like cards, because he is the Joker or Joker. And so his sort of calling card is the different suits of a deck of cards, and he's using fire in the form of playing cards as he whips it at people. So first he threatens the two guys who he knocked out. I assume one of which was a civilian and one of which was the Pretend Infernal.
I think they're both just part of the Fire Force.
Yeah, they're both just part of the Fire Force. They're both, yeah. But one of them was basically playing... Because, again, I'm going to complain about this later. But one of them was definitely the Pretend Infernal.
Which, by the way, we've seen before. We've seen him.
Yeah. So we know that is the Pretend Infernal. We've seen the guy. He's now knocked out on the floor.
By the way, there's no, furniture in the room. So if you walk into the room, you can see him immediately. But keep going.
Oh, yeah. It's a very large empty space. So Joker threatens the two guys, and Devil Guy kicks into action with a pretty cool sequence of Tekken style kicks.
Oh my god. Who's the fucking Brazilian guy from
I don't
Tekken?
remember.
That's exactly it. He does a fucking spinning move.
Exactly
oh my god, it was so cool.
He does the fucking full-on leg spread, helicopter on the ground, the flying kick. I mean, he was full-on kicks. But they have a quick back and forth where once Devil Guy kind of jumps in there with the first barrage of kicks, Joker decides, if you want to be feisty, we can be feisty, and he whips out a little vial of ashes, and he kind of opens it up and kind of throws some in the air, and Devil Guy has a moment where he kind of looks at it and he's like, "That's weird, you're throwing ashes at me," and then the ashes explode, and so we the audience knew this already from the previous episode, but I guess none of them saw it, because none of them made a mention of the ashes before. Did they?
They said, "Hey, look, ashes," and then it blows up. The house blows up.
Okay, maybe they did. I didn't remember them very clearly making a mention, so I was willing to say maybe he just didn't realize it.
Yeah.
He also may just not have made the connection because he didn't know Joker was there.
It may have been someone else made that.
Right.
Made it. Hey, this ash blew up. But anyways, keep going.
So they exchange. We now see that Joker is getting the way better of the trade as Devil Guy gets injured by a flaming card, and then after being kind of stunned by getting injured, and there's a cloud of smoke, yet another barrage of ashes comes out, blows up in his face again. Devil Guy's pretty much getting his shit pushed in by Joker, and as he's sort of bleeding, one knee on the ground, breathing super hard, Joker basically says, you looked super feisty, but this has been super disappointing, so I guess I'm just going to have to kill you now.
And then we cut over to our resident Nightman King. Go
Nightman King.
Yeah, Nightman King. just cutting holes in the walls, doing his thing, trying to look for an exit or the right way to go. When he starts running. He looks up above because he hears something, and of course, Catgirl falls down on him and sits on his face.
Sits on his face. The best part of which was the "I'm not a knight"-shaped pillow joke.
Yeah. It wasn't even the fan service. It was the reaction to the fan service. He's like, "Just get off me."
Yeah. He is honestly in this episode. I did appreciate Night King Man, only because of all of his like straight man reactions.
Like the deadpan. Yeah, I do like his deadpan way of delivering jokes. What I did not like is the scene right after this one, where they both run into the empty room, and Devilman tries to tell them the situation in a pretty succinct way. He takes like 5 seconds to tell them, "Here's what happened. Here's what's going on. Please fucking help me." And then Arthur's like, "No, you're lying to me."
Yeah.
That guy is the target, which he kind of gets right, but he's like, "You're lying to me because you want to win." Despite the fact that 2 of the people we see, the Infernal who we saw outside is on the ground, unconscious, next to the other guy who's also unconscious.
Yep. And Tamaki breaks in too and has the same reaction of
they're
like,
both fucking idiots.
That's the target. We're gonna fucking engage in this shit. And so Arthur runs in there first and gets Ash to the face and gets knocked away. And then Tamaki jumps in with her fire tails and captures the target. And then she gets kicked to hell. And she has a comment of like, "Wow, they're really going hard for this practice thing." And you're like, "Dense motherfuckers, when will you learn?"
Yeah, like there's literally bodies in the foreground while they're standing above it. It was so annoying.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. But so after, one round of the 2 of them getting beat up,
yeah, they finally
roll back over to Devil Kid, and Devil Kid's like, "Hey, round 2 of this, he's a bad guy.
Literally
He's
a bad person.
Bad guy and a bad guy. Let's not be jackasses about this. Let's get the fuck out."
And that's about the time that Joker starts actually basically filling the room with Ash.
Yeah.
Let's out a little goodbye smoke and then disappears.
Yeah. He decides 3 people, even rookies, is too many people for him to fight, or he just doesn't want to. So he decides, let's blow this bitch, literally, cracks open 2 bottles of Ash and pieces out with a nice little bye in smoke, and the 3 of them are kind of left standing there with their thumbs up their ass as Devil Kid is going, "The ashes are going to blow up, jackasses, we need to get out." So Night King Man unsheaths his plasma sword and cuts a triangle in the roof, but of course he's too perfect, and so it's stuck because it's a perfect cut, which is not how cutting works, but whatever.
If anything, it was a perfect cut because it didn't fall down.
It's true. I guess technically it could be so fine but whatever. It clearly was not a very good, escape hatch if he fucked it up.
Yeah.
So he always cut at an angle.
And so Tamaki needs something to do, so she opens up, so she just throws it up.
Yeah.
Is that what she does?
She extends her tails
Yeah.
and creates some sort of explosive force to push it out of the way. And Devil Guy runs over and, again confirming the 2 bodies were in the room, he picks them both up.
And yeah, they're unconscious.
Go to a different room. They're unconscious bodies. He slings them both over his shoulders while they're all 3 standing in the same room. So clearly they could have seen the 2 guys laying on the floor. So he collects them,
they grab
runs
him
back over to the other 2, stands underneath the hole, and he's like, "Grab on. I'm gonna, fire us all out of here."
And he Rocketman's away.
Yeah. He Iron Giants up. "I am Superman." Takes off into the sky, I guess runs out of juice, and kind of they all, spread out as, they're falling to the ground. And so, as they're falling, we have Night King Man just kind of free-falling, going "Well, this is how I die." As Tamaki freaks out in the background, again confirming worst character. But
the captain saves her.
Captain of the first squad jumps up and saves her from the air, and
because Devil Guy isn't a fucking hack, he uses his powers to safely land.
He saves himself, and Night King Man, as he's falling, looks over at Captain the First and says, "Hey, how about you save him? Hey, save me too, bro." To which Captain the First kind of says, "Look down." He looks down and sees
a little blanket.
The 3 members of his troop just holding a tarp out for him because his troop sucks. And he, understands that, well, I'm probably going to die here, but whatever. let's just go for this. So we see him eat shit into the tarp,
Like,
but
absolutely. Like, he just fucking breaks ground.
it was a great, the dichotomy of the first and the eighth squad, as the first squad like nicely touches down, then you have at the speed of sound, Night King Man just face plants into the tarp.
Mm-hmm.
But he managed to survive because they're all, all three of the people that were holding the tarp are jack motherfuckers who don't let go. The one girl is predictably annoyed about the fact that he says that they're all jacked motherfuckers. And that basically ends most of the action parts of the episode.
Basically, almost the rest of the entire episode, because the rest of this is our main character.
The conversation with the captain. Yeah.
In front of the remnants of the building, of the fake building, which ends in a really nice shot where they like shut off the lights and then you can see like all the stars. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm. But they basically have a conversation about the reason why the Fire Force had actually been established, and sort of,
and we get the factions within the Fire Force as well.
Yeah, exactly. That the first squad is more closely linked to the church, and the second squad is more closely linked to the army, and the fifth squad? Yeah, the fifth squad.
Is linked with the company.
Yeah, it's linked to the company that provides all of their gear and shit. And it also provided the building, I noticed while they were talking about it. They had nice little Hajimai, or whatever it was pronounced, like tanks on the side, so they built the building too.
Here's my hot take. The company knows how the things are created, and they're making the things, the little spontaneous combustion guys, so that they can sell more stuff.
You think?
I don't know, but that's like, if this was Cyberpunk, like...
I was going to go for the church, because it's always the church.
Which reminds me, I have something to talk about. You have something to talk to you about after this.
Okay.
But yeah, well, all of them like have like their ways of being corrupt, because the church, that's fairly obvious. Well, they're all fairly obvious. The church, the military, and then the company.
Yeah.
So, like, there's all ways that they're all probably corrupt in some way, and have.
To be fair, like if you were going to create a trying to subvert shonen tropes, it's by giving all three of it's classically a corrupt organization shonen tropes, where we've got no idea who the actual big bad is going to be.
I mean, it's going to be all of them.
I mean, none of them are going to be good, but I'm saying which one is going to be the worst.
Okay. I don't know. It might be the church, because we've seen a lot of church stuff around.
It's true.
More so than the company or the military stuff. But that might come into play a bit more.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But so they, after enlightening us as to the nature of the other three departments, the captain of the 8th tells us now that the 8th department had been recently created as a means of investigating the other 7 fire departments, which is actually just going to turn into investigating the other 3 fire departments that they mentioned. The other ones don't matter. So we're going to find out some more shit about what's actually going down in Firetown. So I'm kind of excited.
We have our 8th team, who have to find out what's going on with the corrupt other teams. That it just keeps spelling out that our captain's going to die. He's going to find out too much, and he's going to die.
Oh yeah.
And he's gonna leave some cryptic message for his buddies. I mean, it's gonna happen. If he dies, he's gonna leave a really bad cryptic message.
I'm laughing because you're right. I'm laughing because you're so right, and I'm upset, kind of.
I mean, that's usually what happens. It's a trope for a reason. It works. It's just we've seen it a bunch of times. Just like we've seen a bunch of cases.
I just don't want him to die. He's such a cool guy.
I don't want to die either. He's a fucking bro.
I hope he hangs around for at least the rest of these 12 episodes.
But so far, that's been Fire Force. A lot of action. The fan service is kind of annoying. Mostly because it's not Maki, but oh well.
Yeah.
We'll get that.
Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention.
What?
We were right. The brother is alive, though.
Yes, brother's alive.
Joker confirmed it. Or he said it. We don't know if it's confirmed.
Yes, he said the brother's alive. But we have confirmation that, for sure, the first district captain knows something.
Yeah.
And it's probably related to his brother.
Yeah.
Probably because his brother was the demon that shows up in his dream or whatever.
Possibly.
And they're trying to keep him under control.
That might be true.
That's what I'm guessing.
Okay. I'm willing to believe that.
So I don't think, like you said, I don't think the main character, our brother's a bad person, or a villain. He's going to be a anti-villain who doesn't want to be a villain. He's going to go crazy with his power at some point.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He's going to have to learn how to control it.
That makes more sense, yeah.
Because usually, if like we do have a villain who's actually a villain, it's usually like the older sibling.
It's true. Because
Um,
they usually become a villain when they're old enough to know better. Whereas he was like a baby when he got took.
yeah. And so yeah, that was Fire Force. With all like us griping about all the cliches and stuff, I'm still really enjoying it. All the
Yeah.
animation's fucking awesome. Always looks beautiful.
Uh,
Anything you like that?
so, about Fire Force? I don't believe so.
Cool.
So now we have
Fucking
the
Vinland
last
Saga.
show? Yeah, Vinland Saga.
Oh my god. So we were right. Thor does die, which I think was fairly obvious. Surprise. But goddamn, Thor is just such a fucking badass. I wish he had died so fast though.
How many more episodes did you wish he was going to hang around for?
I don't know, but like I want someone just as badass as Thor to just show up again.
It's true, but at the same time, like I feel like the more time Thor is alive, the less time Thorfinn was going to do anything good.
Yeah. Because like for these 4 episodes, Thorfinn wasn't the main character. It was Thor's. It was
Oh yeah,
him
no.
going through his like his arc, which leads to his ultimate death, where he just does not want to kill people. Like
Yep.
he's just a strict pacifist, and like even when he's basically knocking out a bunch of people off fucking boats, fucking breaking arms and shit, he doesn't actually kill anyone.
hmm
And that's made a huge mention of at the end of the episode. We have a brawl between Bjorn, who was the berserker, who eats the berserker mushroom, versus Thor's beats him up.
Yeah.
Basically without even like breaking a sweat. Like he just beats the shit out of him. Like
Yeah, he
underscoring
basically just throws like one punches. Like it's not
Yeah.
even like combination blows. He basically just hits him once. He gets back up, hits him
Yeah.
one more time.
for the underscoring like how strong Thor's is, and how much of like a force he is.
Yeah, seriously.
And that's like
Dude is absolutely Norwegian Hulk.
yeah, and that's like the first half. I don't think he's Norwegian.
Icelandic?
Not even Icelandic. Because he's like the first generation of Icelandic. Thorfinn is Icelandic because he was born there.
Yeah.
I think I don't remember where Thor's from,
I don't
but
remember
I do
either.
remember passing mention of that they have Norwegian heritage.
Okay.
But yeah, the second half of the episode is basically the duel between Thor's and Askeladd, right?
Askeladd.
Askeladd. And I also love Askeladd. Just because he's just a conniving motherfucker. I just love him so much.
He was a pretty cool character.
He's awesome. And right now, given like the opening, he's going to become Thorfinn's mentor.
Yeah.
Even though Thorfinn hates him. Which is going to end
Yes.
up with Thorfinn finally killing Askeladd, and Askeladd being happy about it.
Probably.
Which I'm totally down for. I can't wait for that in like 50 episodes.
Yeah. A very long time from now.
Yeah. So Askeladd and Thor's have their duel, which basically the way it works out is Askeladd is trying to use his environment and like different surprise attacks to actually beat Thor's, because he knows he can't beat Thor's just head on, because Thor's is just he's just a dude.
He's a force of nature. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. He like tries a surprise attack where he breaks the mast. Is that what you call it?
Yeah. He breaks the
Yeah.
mainsail.
The mainsail falls down. While it's falling down, and Thor's is surprised. Askeladd tries to stab him in the gut, going under the sail as it's falling down. That doesn't work because he's able to parry it. And after that, he's basically he basically just takes a barrage of attacks from then on, and eventually just says, eventually the sword breaks. He breaks Thor's sword.
Thor's sword.
And then Thor is able to punch him in the face and just grab his sword, I'm not sure what the right word is, but to redirect an attack that Askeladd sends, doing a downward chop. He's able to basically grab his sword and after that use it as his own, because he snatches it.
Yeah.
And
He baits him in with a flurry of like sword to sword hits so that it ends up chipping the blades more and more, so that Askeladd takes a solid parry to break Thor's sword, goes for a reckless chop, realizes it was all a ruse the whole time, gets a face punch and a sword snatch, and now Thor's has the sword, and Askeladd has his fucking dick in his hands.
Yeah, so he can't really do much. And so they have a back and forth about what they should what should happen. Thor says, I win, get the fuck out of here, and Askeladd's, you gotta kill me, dude. If he really wants to win.
Yeah. It was basically, you should surrender now, to which Askeladd said, no.
Yeah. And we also know that there's archers up on the hills as well, up on the cliffs. And they're waiting for Askeladd's signal to shoot Thor's. So that comes into play in a couple of minutes. Bjorn wakes up and actually sees, Askeladd basically being taken down. And the entirety of their force is basically flabbergasted that their commander lost. Askeladd makes a passing joke about how Thor should become the captain, which I don't know if he was actually completely joking about it or not. I can't read Askeladd just yet.
50% joking, 50% serious.
That's what I'm saying. There's something about Askeladd where he admires Thor's, even though he's gonna kill him anyways.
I mean, he definitely admires Thor's.
Yeah.
Whether he was joking or not, he admires the fighter and the warrior that is Thor's, for sure.
But so after the back and forth, Thor decides to throw the sword into the lake. Because Askeladd says, I'm not going to play fair. It's either your life, or I'm still going to, or I just take everyone anyways. Right. So he's kind of screwed. So at this point, after Bjorn takes his son hostage, he throws away the sword, and basically just knows that at this point he just has to die in order for everyone else to survive. And that's when when Askeladd gives the signal to go ahead and kill Thor's, after he says I'll surrender, and then he puts his hand up, and everyone shoots Thor's. Thor's tells Leif to take everyone back to Iceland, and to take his head to the Norwegian king or whoever of the Jom's Vikings, to show that Thor's didn't pussy out.
Yeah.
He tried to do it, but he died.
Died in battle
to protect his family back home, because he doesn't want the Vikings to show up and be like, "Hey, your guy didn't show up. We're gonna kill all of you." That's most of the episode. We get that one guy who, well, I can't say that one guy who confessed to Thor's daughter, because everyone did. But the black-haired kid tries to fight Askeladd, and Askeladd just dodges everything, and then just fucking punches him in the face. And tells him, you're not Thor's. Stop it.
It was very, for everything that the Askeladd Thor's, back and forth while they were being witty to each other. As soon as Askeladd talked to somebody else, you kind of saw how much disdain he had for all of the other people in the boat. But he is a man of some of his words. And so he collects the rest of his forces and sort of heads out and leaves the other dudes to do whatever they want. But the other dudes, I guess they ditch their boat, because
they go into Leif's boat.
Yeah, they all go in Leif's boat, and they ditch one of their boats. And so Askeladd's crew collects the spare boat and takes it with them, which Thorfinn, we find, is hiding out on, crying about his dead dad. But he comes out standing there with his one dagger, because despite it being a dagger given to him, as Thor's is telling him, don't kill people. Don't kill people. What Thorfinn took away from that was kill everybody. Which,
it's going to be, his journey is finding out that how right his dad was. Because he's going to see some shit.
But it's going to be annoying to watch a little bit.
Oh.
It's going to be one of those, your dad basically told you, look, you could put your hand on the stove, but you're going to burn yourself. And then we're going to watch him put his hand on the stove for several episodes.
Well, not even for several episodes. For probably most of his journey.
Probably.
It's going to be him, just trying to, get revenge and get stronger. And
slowly learn that,
war,
killing people and violence is, awful. It doesn't matter which side wins. All of the people who fight it lose.
And we're also going to get Askeladd as the surrogate dad.
Yeah. Askeladd as surrogate dad, already fulfilling his role by saying, yeah, you're just going to sleep in the spare boat by yourself. Have fun, kid.
And some of the and even some of like the little the soldiers on Askeladd's team like are a little scared of Thorfinn because they're like, damn, that kid looks really pissed off.
Yeah. Dude, I'd be if fucking
Yeah.
some like random 8-year-old charged me with a knife. They could like fuck up my legs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like exposed tendons in your legs that I
Fucking
wouldn't want to
ankle
get
shanker.
stabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had like a fear of
Some of an
Is that
8-year-old
not-
running at you with a knife.
not an 8-year-old running up with a knife, but of somebody cutting my Achilles tendon. I had like a visceral fear of that.
Don't
It's
you
the
have,
one
like-
injury I never want to experience.
Well, I mean, if they do that, like it's really hard to heal your Achilles tendon, if I remember right. Like basically, if you sever it, it's screwed.
I think so.
Because I know like Achilles injuries when it comes to soccer, like that's a death sentence for your career.
Oh wow, okay.
Hmm. Just because it's just so hard.
Right.
Even for like other sports, like Achilles tendon is just so important because you're doing a lot of running.
Yeah. I feel like Achilles injuries are very rare, at least in football.
Yeah, because
'Cause-
like you're not really impacting like your ankles as much as you are in soccer because you have the slide tackles. That's
Yeah.
mostly where a lot of the Achilles injuries come from are really bad slide tackles.
So like a lot of the really bad injuries are actually non-contact injuries where somebody will tear their ACL or their MCL.
Or get a concussion.
Oh, well, those are contact injuries.
Sorry.
The worst injury in soccer or in football is actually a non-contact injury where if it's just it's too fast of a lateral leg movement and
Oh.
it tears your
Like your groin muscle?
ancillary collateral ligament is what it's called, I think.
Okay.
But it's the ACL. And so if that tears, it's the rest of the season is over.
Isn't that like
It doesn't
in,
matter
like,
when
the
you
back of your
tore
leg?
it, you're gone. It's along the back of your leg.
Okay. Oh yeah. You can probably feel it like next to. Wait, I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's the one to the
People
left.
it's the one.
I think
Yeah,
it's the
I
bigger
forget
one.
which side it is. People who've torn it, like football players who've torn it, have basically said like you can feel it uncurl in your leg or
Ugh.
untense in your leg. You feel it curl up. It's super unsettling. Apparently, I do not want to ever like experience that feeling.
Well,
It also hurts like a motherfucker. Apparently,
I mean, tearing any of your muscles is awful.
yeah.
I think at some point I like pulled like one of my like leg tendons or muscles because I had been running and I hit a like ditch that I didn't see.
Ooh.
So like I did that thing where like I'm fully extended, expecting ground to be under my foot, and then it just
Right.
dips. And at the time I didn't feel it, but the next day like I had to walk with a limp. I was walking with a limp for like a month.
Oh yeah, where you
Yeah.
like it's just there's some like latent injury inside your leg where you're like, I don't know what I did, but I fucked it up bad.
Yeah, like I couldn't extend my leg.
Yeah, I
Um,
did that at some point when I was doing soccer at UVA.
Okay. It
And
fucking
it's the
sucks.
same- I did a similar type thing where it wasn't. I didn't hyperextend it. I went for a slide tackle, but like my foot caught on something in like the turf,
Mhm.
and it happened in a moment. And so I don't know what happened. It was just pure like I could feel like where my foot was. My entire leg bent in backwards on itself.
Oh yeah.
Like my foot just stopped moving, but my knee carried forward, and like my ankle wanted to keep going forward, and so my foot just curled backwards, and like it was just for like a fraction of a second. It came like way further back than it ever should, and then it like got over whatever it was, and it snapped back into where it was supposed to be. But like that moment of like twist back, I fucked up something like really badly in my calf, in my calf, and so like for 4 weeks I had to walk with a limp.
Yeah, it
Because
fucking
it was
blows.
just awful.
I tried putting on like one of those like knee thingies that you can get at
The
CVS.
knee brace.
Yeah, it didn't work. Like I put it on. I tried walking. It made it worse.
Wow.
So I just pulled that shit off and just walked the limp.
Uh,
But anyways, back to Vinland Saga, which is far more interesting than our really bad nerdy issues we have,
Yeah.
where our muscles are just being destroyed because we don't go outside enough.
exactly.
Yeah, this episode of Vinland Saga didn't have a lot of plot-wise, mostly because it was just two kind of fights in a row. The fight
Right.
with Bjorn and the fight with Askeladd. And I think we're going to start getting time skips soon. Because I don't know how much time we're going to spend with little Thorfinn.
Yeah.
Or if we're going to
It
go...
was realistically, in terms of like time spent in episode, it probably amassed, excluding the little thing at the end with Thorfinn on the boat.
Probably
It was
10
probably a
minutes.
grand total of like 5 minutes
Yeah.
at most. So there was not a whole lot of like plot development because there just wasn't like in-world time for there to be plot development.
Yeah, in this particular case, it was the end of Thor's journey.
Yeah. It was a 20-minute fucking eulogy to Thor's as the
God.
badass that he
Thor
was.
awesome.
But he gone now.
Oh, he's gone.
Never to return.
Yep, he's
And
what?
now I guess
No, he's
now we're
gone.
gonna have Thor.
He's gone to Valhalla.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I thought you said heaven.
Oh no, I said never to return.
Oh yes, he's gone to Valhalla, never to return. Eat food. And...
Eat wine. Yeah, that's
Shut
what
up.
he's gonna do. He's gonna
Well-
eat wine.
Well, also they don't drink wine either. They drink mead.
They ingest it.
Because he doesn't know what wine was.
Consume mead.
Yep. And that was Vinland Saga.
That was Vinland Saga. We'll see how the plot goes now that we have main character Thorfinn.
Yep. I wonder how fast he's gonna become a teenager.
I'm gonna say 2 episodes of him being a kid.
Okay, 2 episodes of him being a kid, and the second episode is gonna be him. It's gonna be a time skip.
Yeah,
Okay. Let's see
that's
if you're
my
right.
bet.
I'm okay with that bet.
I'm basing this on absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of makes sense. We need time for Thorfinn to get acclimated to a situation as a kid. And then in the second episode, we probably see him start to train with the other guys. And we see his ever-growing anger for everyone. Possibly he's
Yeah.
going to kill someone. And Askeladd's going to be like, well, fuck it. That guy was weak if he lost to an 8-year-old.
You're probably right. That is probably going to be his reaction is, well, he lost to an 8-year-old. Must have been a weak bitch.
Yeah.
But just something about the thought of Thorfinn killing somebody, even in, I assume it's gonna be they're in practice and he just knifes some nerd anyways. The thought of in practice just knifing some nerd and going, well, he deserved it. He lost to an 8-year-old.
I fucking love Askeladd so much.
He's a solid character.
Yep.
I am appreciating him more than I anticipated because I kind of anticipated, like I said before when we watched the first 3 episodes, I expected it to be more like one of his, companions was going to distract Thorfinn with his warm, fleshy body, while Askeladd came around for some solid back shanking. So the fact that he actually stood up and fought Thorfinn one-on-one
Thor's.
Thor's, I'm sorry, fought Thor's one-on-one was actually pretty cool. So I appreciate him more as a character now.
Okay.
He had the guts to fight a duel.
And even, almost got Thor's.
Well, did he though?
He put up a good fight.
He played into Thor's hands. I don't think he almost got Thor's. Thor's was controlling that shit from the beginning.
And so ends another episode of ABC. What would you like to sell out to today, Nick?
I'm gonna sell it to the Golden Deer House. Support the best house.
I like Claude. Claude's great.
Claude's pretty awesome. Okay, all of the girls in the Golden Deer House, amazing. Both as characters and as Fire Emblem characters. Both their characterization and their stat growth, amazing. The women of the Golden Deer House, 10 out of 10s. All of the dudes suck ass. Don't use any of them ever.
You should try to recruit Dorothea. You'd really like her.
I did already.
She
was the first
awesome.
one I went up.
She's great. I love her.
I collected her immediately.
Dorothea's fucking awesome. She's so far
What are you
one of
gonna-
my favorite characters.
What are you gonna sell it to?
Fuck. What was I gonna sell out to? I had a thing.
Oh wow.
Oh my god, I can't remember. I'm gonna sell out to... Shit, where's the box? Is it on the bottom? It's not. Oh wait, yeah it is. I need to read this. Apparently
Okay.
Sunrise... No, wait, that's where the character's from. Fuck. Hold on. Alright, let me go get the box.
Okay.
Gonna sell out to Exo Figurine, because that's where Alex bought the figurine from. It was a character of... it's C2. He bought a figure of C2.
From
Code Geass.
Code Geass.
Yep.
I can only remember the name Lelouch because I knew it was the Lelouch Rebellion, and I just couldn't remember the actual name of the show.
Lelouch of the Rebellion. But yeah, good thoughts to that. Not because I like it, just because, I fucking hate Alex.
Just because you got it for free.
Basically. It's on my desk now.
Solid. And thus ends another episode of ABC.
Yes, it does.